There are now about 40 confirmed cases of coronavirus in Clinton County. And this week we talked with one of the people who has tested positive about self-isolation and quarantine.
I got fatigued, essentially walking in. I had to sit down for a minute.
It was an unusual start to the morning for 33-year-old Jake Avery, who works at SUNY Plattsburgh's Center for Student Involvement. After battling fatigue all day paired with headaches, he went home, found out he had a fever, and took a nap. That nap lasted 16 hours. That's when he decided to contact his doctor.
She tested me immediately.
He waited 5 days for the confirmation. His partner also tested positive for the virus. Over the next week, he and his partner felt the symptoms come in waves. He says they had little to no appetite and no sense of smell.
I have a hard time breathing, very tight chest, can't take deep breath.
Avery says he wants to share the experience they are facing to get the word out about how serious the virus is and that it can affect anyone and everyone, the young, the healthy, even a marathon runner.
I went downhill quick. Don't think this is nothing, especially those that are younger and could wipe it clean and say it's nothing. Get it checked out. This is serious. I was taking it seriously, but it is much more serious than I was taking it, I think.
And Jake Avery joins us now. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. How are you and your partner feeling now?
Today we're doing great, actually. Upright, not taking a nap. The last 2 days have been good to us. In talking to Clinton County and our doctors, it seems like we have come to the peak and are moving in the positive direction finally.
Do you feel as if the worst is over? Are you both feeling a little bit better every day?
I hope so, but yes, absolutely. I think the worst is over, and so much of this has been sleeping, and it feels good to be able to stay awake all day long and do things.
How would you describe what it feels like to have this virus?
I think the biggest piece I would highlight is the exhaustion, complete exhaustion, every single second. At times, looking primarily at last week, we would get up and maybe get some breakfast and then look at each other and be like, you know what, it's time for a nap. And that would be a half an hour after waking up around 7:30.
At the very beginning, what were the first symptoms you noticed?
I noticed something was up. I was halfway to work and I had to sit down for a moment. I just was too tired walking. I thought it was primarily exhaustion. By that point, I worked 2 weeks straight with the changes on campus. And then I got to work, and progressively every half hour, 45 minutes or so, I would get worse and I would get slower, more fatigued. I started getting that dry cough we keep hearing about. I got a lightning sort sensation in my brain, essentially, so a headache, but it would shoot down to either side of my eyes. And there'd be a tightness in my chest, and I was having a very difficult time breathing. And then I slept for 16 hours straight. The next morning, my doctor got me right in and said, I want to do a test on you. And then by that point, I was feeling good, decent. I went in, got tested, and then was surprised by the results, the positive results last Tuesday.
And as you recover, are you constantly thinking about how you were exposed to the virus?
I am, and it's by far the number one question people are asking me. How did I get this? When did I come into contact? And I can think of many different ways, just looking at how people are coming together or not social distancing, and I see that every single day. To this point, nobody close to me has tested positive. I know of nobody positive. I have friends in other states and such, yes, but we're the only ones in this area of our friend group that has it.
Did it surprise you that you got this? You're young, you're in your 30s, you're healthy, you're a runner. People like you aren't supposed to get this virus.
That Tuesday, I was shocked. I got the message from my doctor, yeah, you're positive. I was feeling good by that point. I was upright, and we were planning on a day. I was looking forward to getting the negative results so I can go for a run. So I was shocked by that. I thought it was exhaustion. But it's been interesting too. So I was feeling good at the beginning of the week, and then I crashed hard. And same with my partner. Just the exhaustion was unbearable. But as you mentioned, I'm relatively athletic. I'm a runner, I'm a hiker, and the complete inability to get out of bed and just lift myself up. There were times where I don't want to say I was paralyzed, but my muscles were not working. I could not lift myself out of bed.
Do you hope that your story will resonate with people, with teenagers, with young people in their 20s and 30s who don't think that this can affect them? Are you hoping they'll see this, hear your story, and take this more seriously?
That's the whole reason why I'm in public. I try to be as private as possible, and typically I would not be out there with this. But I think it needs to be said, whether initially it was in my head for the students that I work with every day, to those in my generation, and those older. I know we focus on Generation Z, Generation Y, millennials, so on and so forth, but it's everybody. I see people clustering together, even walking around. Beforehand, in the grocery stores, people are really hovering on each other. I know in many comments, I live across from Fox Hill and seeing people playing baseball and basketball still nonstop, and we get a pretty good view of it from here. Stay home. I know it's maddening. I know it's frustrating being at home, but it's the only way we're going to get through it. And it scares me. I'm blessed. I alluded to this earlier. I don't know anyone else that's positive in this area in our family or friends, but they could get it. And we've locked ourselves in our house. We've made sure no one can come in. There's been drive-bys essentially of dropping off food for us and people waving from the sidewalk to see if we're still functioning. But that's the only way we're going to survive from it. We need to stay indoors. We need to get through this.
And how much longer do you have in self-isolation?
I'm on track to being quote unquote cured of it, and no longer have symptoms. I've been a few days without symptoms and haven't had a fever in a week. This weekend, my partner's about that same time frame, early next week. There's going to be some more precautionary pieces. We'll be wearing a mask nonstop. So we should be in decent shape this weekend.
Jake, again, we hope that you and your partner recover fully and soon, and we wish you the best.